Listen carefully. The story I am about to tell you may change the way you see your own life. It is a story about love, but not the kind of love you see in movies. It is about a love that hides, a love that waits, a love we often miss until it is too late. If stories like this move something deep inside you, you should know something. There are many more waiting for you here. We tell them slowly. We tell them clearly. We tell them in simple English, so that anyone in the world, in any country, in any little corner of the earth, can understand every word and feel every word. So before we begin, do one small thing for me. Look down. You will see a small red button. Tap it. That way, when the next story comes, you will not miss it. You will be the first to hear it. And maybe, just maybe, the next story will be the one you needed to hear your whole life. Now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you want. And let me tell you about the box. The old wooden box that one woman found in her father's attic. A box that had been sitting there, in the dark, for 30 years. A box that held a secret that would break her heart, and then slowly, gently, put it back together again. This is her story, and maybe, in some small way, it is your story too. Her name was Sarah. Sarah was 42 years old. She lived in a small apartment in the city. She worked as a nurse at the hospital. She loved her job. She loved helping people. She was good at it. But Sarah was not happy. Deep inside her heart, something was missing. She did not know what it was. She had a good life, a safe life, a quiet life, but she felt empty, and she did not understand why. Sarah's father had died 3 months ago. His name was Henry. He was 78 years old. He died alone, in his small house, on a cold morning in November. A neighbor found him. He was sitting in his old chair, by the window, with the newspaper still in his hands. Sarah did not cry at the funeral. She felt sad. Of course she felt sad. He was her father. But the tears did not come. She stood by his grave. She watched the dirt fall onto the wooden box, and she felt nothing, or almost nothing. Her father was a quiet man. He never talked much. He never said, "I love you." He never hugged her. He never asked her about her day. He never asked her about her dreams. He never asked her anything at all. When Sarah was a child, her father worked at a factory. He worked 6 days a week. He left the house at 5 in the morning. He came home at 8 at night. Sarah barely saw him, and when she saw him, he was tired. So tired. He sat in his old chair. He read the newspaper. He said nothing. He drank his coffee in silence. He went to bed early. And the next day, it started all over again. Sarah grew up thinking her father did not love her. She thought he was cold. She thought he was distant. She thought he only cared about his work, his newspaper, and his silence. She thought there was no room for her in his heart. She remembered being 7 years old. She had drawn a picture for him, a picture of a house, a sun, and the two of them holding hands. She brought it to him while he was sitting in his chair. She stood in front of him. She held the drawing up. She waited. He looked at it. He said, "That is nice." He went back to his newspaper. Sarah took the picture to her room. She put it in the trash can. She cried under her blanket that night. She thought, "He does not love me. He does not love me. He does not love me." She was 7 years old, and that night, something inside her broke. Just a little, a tiny crack. But cracks like that, they grow. When Sarah was 13, she had a birthday party. All her friends came. There was a cake, there was music, there were balloons. Her mother had worked all day to make everything perfect. But her father did not come home. He had to work overtime, her mother said. He was sorry, her mother said. He would make it up to her, her mother said. He never did. Sarah blew out the candles alone. She made a wish. She wished her father loved her the way other fathers loved their daughters. She wished he would walk through the door, hold her tight, and say, "Happy birthday, my little girl." He never did. That night, Sarah went to her room. She locked the door. She looked at herself in the mirror, and she promised herself something. She promised herself she would stop hoping. She would stop waiting. She would stop loving a man who did not love her back. She was 13 years old. When Sarah was 18, she left home. She went to nursing school in another city. She wanted to be free. She wanted to start a new life. A life without that silent man in the chair. A life where she could finally breathe. Her mother cried when she left. Her father did not. He drove her to the bus station. He carried her suitcase. He did not say much. At the station, he gave her an envelope. There was money inside, enough to pay for her first month of school. He said, "Be safe." That was all. He did not hug her. He did not kiss her cheek. He did not say, "I love you." He did not say, "I will miss you." He just stood there, in his old coat, with his hands in his pockets, and watched her get on the bus. Sarah did not look back. She told herself she would not look back. She told herself she was free. She told herself she did not need him. But as the bus drove away, she felt that little crack in her heart grow a little bigger. Years passed. Sarah finished nursing school. She got a job at a hospital. She made friends. She had boyfriends. She had a life, a real life, her own life. She visited her parents on holidays. Her mother was warm and loving. Her mother hugged her at the door. Her mother cooked her favorite food. Her mother asked her 100 questions. Her father was the same as always, quiet, distant, sitting in his chair, reading his newspaper, drinking his coffee, saying nothing. When Sarah was 32, her mother died. It was a heart attack. Sudden, quick. There was no time to say goodbye. At the funeral, Sarah cried. She cried for hours. She cried for days. She cried for her mother, who had loved her so much. She cried for herself, because now she was alone with a father who did not love her. After the funeral, her father lived alone, in the small house, with the old chair, and the newspaper, and the silence. Sarah called him once a week, always on Sunday evenings. The calls were short. "Hi, Dad. How are you?" "I'm fine." "Did you eat?" "Yes." "Did you take your medicine?" "Yes." "Okay. Good night." "Good night." That was all. That was their relationship for 10 more years. A phone call every Sunday. Short, polite, empty. Sometimes Sarah wanted to scream at him. She wanted to say, "Why don't you love me? Why didn't you ever love me? What did I do wrong?" But she never did. She was too proud. She was too tired. She was too broken. And then, one Sunday in November, she called him, and he did not answer. She called again. He did not answer. She called the neighbor. The neighbor went to the house. The neighbor called her back. And that is how Sarah learned that her father was gone. Now, 3 months later, Sarah was standing in front of her father's old house. She had to clean it. She had to sell it. She had to finish this chapter of her life and start a new one. A chapter without him. The house was small. It had 2 bedrooms. It had an old kitchen. The walls were yellow with age. The furniture was the same furniture from her childhood. Nothing had changed in 30 years. She walked through the rooms slowly. She touched the old wooden table where they had eaten dinner together all those years ago. She touched the old chair where her father had sat every evening, reading his newspaper, saying nothing. She felt strange. She did not feel sad. She did not feel happy. She just felt empty. She went into the kitchen. She opened the cupboards. There were old plates, old cups, old memories. She went into her old bedroom. The bed was still there. The little desk where she used to do her homework at car. Even her old curtains were still there, faded by the sun. Her mother had decorated this room. Her father had never come in here, not once, not even when she was sick, or so she thought. Sarah climbed up to the attic. The attic was dark and dusty. It smelled like old wood and forgotten years. There were boxes everywhere. Boxes of old clothes. boxes of old books, boxes of things that no one needed anymore. And in the corner, she saw a wooden box. It was big, brown, covered in dust. She did not remember this box. She had never seen it before. Sarah walked over to it slowly. She knelt down on the floor. She wiped the dust away with her hand. The box had a small lock on it. The lock was old, rusty, but she did not need a key. The lock was already open. She wondered if her father had opened it recently, maybe just before he died. Sarah took a deep breath. She did not know why her heart was beating so fast. She opened the box. Inside, she saw papers. Many, many papers. Letters, pictures, notes. Old, yellow, fragile pieces of paper. Sarah picked up the first paper on top. It was a drawing. A child's drawing. A drawing of a house, a sun, and a stick figure holding hands with another stick figure. At the bottom, in shaky letters, it said, "Daddy and Me," by Sarah, age 7. Sarah stared at the drawing. She remembered it. She had drawn this 35 years ago. She had given it to her father. She had thought he did not care. She had thrown it in the trash. But here it was, in his box, saved for 35 years. Her hands began to shake. She picked up the next paper. It was a school report card. Her first grade report card. She had received good grades. Her teacher had written, "Sarah is a kind and smart girl. She always helps her friends." Her father had kept this. She picked up the next paper. A photograph, a picture of her, on her first day of school. She was wearing a blue dress. She was holding a red backpack. She was smiling, but her eyes looked nervous. On the back of the photograph, in her father's handwriting, it said, "My little Sarah's first day. She was so brave. I cried after she went inside the school. I did not let her see." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. He cried. Her father cried. The quiet man who never showed any emotion. She kept looking through the box. More photographs. Her at age 9 riding a bicycle. Her at age 10 holding a school trophy. Her at age 12 sitting under a tree reading a book. Her at age 13 looking sad on her birthday. Sarah remembered that birthday. She had been angry at her father. He had not come to her party. He had been working. On the back of the photo, he had written, "I missed her 13th birthday. I worked overtime to save for her college. She does not understand. I cannot tell her. I see her face and my heart breaks. One day, she will know. One day, she will understand. Today, I am just a bad father. But she will have a good future. That is all that matters." Sarah began to cry. The tears came slowly at first, then faster. Then she could not stop. She had not cried at his funeral. She was crying now. She kept reading. She found letters, many letters, letters her father had written to her, but never sent. The first letter was dated the 15th of June, 1988. She had been 8 years old. "Dear Sarah, today you asked me why I never play with you. I did not know how to answer. The truth is, I do not know how to play. My own father never played with me. He worked until he died. I never saw him smile. I work too. I work because I love you. I want you to have everything I never had. I want you to go to college. I want you to have a good job. I want you to never be hungry. I want you to never be afraid. I do not know how to be a good father, but I am trying. Every day, I am trying. I am sorry, I am not the father you need. One day, I will give you this letter. One day, you will understand. I love you, my little Sarah. I love you more than anything in this world. Love, Dad." Sarah read the letter 3 times. Her tears were falling on the old paper. Some of the words were starting to blur. He loved her. He had always loved her. She picked up the next letter. It was dated the 3rd of October 1991. She had been 11 years old. "Dear Sarah, today you came home crying. Some girls at school said your shoes were old and ugly. You ran to your room. You cried for hours. I am writing this in the kitchen. Your mother is asleep. I am looking at the calendar. 3 more weeks until I get paid. I cannot buy you new shoes until then. Sarah, I want to tell you something. I work 12 hours a day. I have 1 shirt for work. I eat the same lunch every day, every week, every month, because food costs money. I do these things because I want you to have new shoes, but sometimes, even then, it is not enough. I am sorry, my little girl. I am so sorry. I wish you knew how hard I am trying. Love, Dad. Sarah covered her face with her hands. She remembered those shoes. She remembered crying. She remembered being angry at her father because he did not buy her new shoes. She remembered thinking he did not care. He had been working 12 hours a day. He had been eating the same lunch every day. He had only 1 shirt for work. For her, all for her. She picked up another letter. This one was dated the 20th of May 1998. She had been 18 years old, the day she left for college. Dear Sarah, today you got on the bus. You went to nursing school. You did not look back. I stood at the station for a long time. I watched the road, even after the bus was gone. I do not know how long I stood there. Maybe an hour, maybe 2. You did not hug me. You did not say goodbye. You did not look at me. I understand, my little girl. I understand. I have not been the father you deserved. In the envelope I gave you, there was $300. I want you to know where that money came from. I sold my watch, the one my father gave me. It was the only thing I had from him. I am happy I sold it. Because now, every time you study, every time you learn, every time you become a better person, my father will be a part of that. And he was not a kind man. But maybe, through you, he can finally be a good man. Be safe, Sarah. Be brave. Be everything I could never be. I love you. I have always loved you, even when you could not feel it, even when I did not know how to show it. Love, Dad. Sarah closed her eyes. She remembered that envelope. She had used the money to pay for her first books, her first room, her first month of food. She had thought he gave her the money because he had to, because she was his daughter, and that was his duty. She did not know. She did not know he had sold his father's watch. She did not know. Sarah kept reading. There were more letters, so many more. A letter when she graduated from nursing school. He had been there, in the back of the room. She had not seen him. She had not invited him. But he had come anyway. He had taken a bus for 6 hours to be there. He had cried when she walked across the stage. A letter when she got her first job at the hospital. He had written, "My daughter is a nurse. My daughter saves lives. My daughter is a miracle." A letter when her mother died. He had written, "Your mother told me, before she died, that you would forget me when she was gone. She said I should try harder. I do not know how. I do not know how to show you what is in my heart. I am too old. I am too broken. I just want you to be happy." A letter from last year. Dear Sarah, I am old now. The doctor says my heart is not strong. He says I do not have much time. Maybe a year. Maybe 2. I sit in my chair every day. I think about you. I look at your pictures. I read your old letters from when you were a little girl. The ones you wrote to me when you were 5, 6, 7 years old. I've kept them all. You used to write, "I love you, Daddy. You are the best dad in the world." Do you remember? You were so small. You did not know yet that I was not the best dad. You did not know yet that I was failing you every single day. I want to call you. I want to tell you everything. I want to say, I am sorry. I want to say, I love you. But when I pick up the phone, the words do not come. I have lived my whole life without saying these words. I do not know how to start now. Maybe one day you will find this box. Maybe one day you will read this letter. Maybe one day you will know. If you find this, please remember, I loved you. From the first day I held you in my arms, to the last breath I will take. I loved you with all that I am. I am sorry I could not say it out loud. I am sorry I could not be the father you needed. I am sorry, my little girl. I love you. Love, Dad. Sarah could not breathe. She held the letter against her heart. She rocked back and forth on the dusty attic floor, crying like a child. All her life, she had thought he did not love her. All her life, she had been wrong. He had loved her with everything he had. He had loved her with his hands, working 12 hours a day. He had loved her with his back, bending in the factory until it hurt. He had loved her with his silence, because he did not know any other way. He had loved her with his old watch, sold for $300 so she could go to school. He had loved her with all of his quiet, broken, beautiful heart. And she had never known. Sarah sat in the attic for hours. She read every letter. She looked at every photo. She found things she had forgotten. Her baby shoes, a small lock of her hair, her first lost tooth, wrapped in a tiny piece of paper. He had saved her first lost tooth. At the bottom of the box, she found one more thing, a small bank book. She opened it. It was a savings account, in her name. Started when she was 1 year old. Inside, there were 41 years of small deposits. $20, $50, $30. Every month, for 41 years, her father had put a little money into this account. The total was $84,000. There was a note inside the book, in her father's handwriting. For my Sarah. For when she needs it, for her dream, whatever it is, whenever it comes. Love, Dad. Sarah held the bank book to her chest. $84,000. He had saved it, $1 at a time, for her dream. A dream he did not even know she had. A dream he trusted she would find. The man she had thought did not care had spent his entire life caring. In silence, in secret, in the only way he knew how. Sarah did not go home that night. She slept in her old bedroom, in her old bed, with all of her father's letters spread around her like a blanket of love she had never known existed. She talked to him. She talked to him for hours. She said, I am sorry, Dad. I am so sorry. I did not know. I did not know. She said, I love you, Dad. I have always loved you. Even when I was angry, even when I was hurt, even when I forgot. I love you. She said, thank you. Thank you for the shoes. Thank you for the school. Thank you for the watch. Thank you for every quiet sacrifice you made. Thank you for loving me in the only way you knew. She said, I forgive you for all the things you could not say, and I hope you can forgive me for all the things I could not see. In the morning, the sun came through the old curtains. Sarah stood up. She washed her face. She made a cup of coffee in the old kitchen. She sat in her father's chair by the window. She understood now. This is where he had sat every evening for 40 years, reading his newspaper, looking at her pictures on the wall, drinking his coffee, thinking about her, loving her in his quiet, broken way. She had thought he was cold. He had been the warmest man in the world, and she had been too young, too hurt, too blind to see it. Sarah took the box home with her. She kept it in her bedroom, on her dresser, where she could see it every day. She started reading the letters again, one by one, slowly. One letter every night, before she went to sleep, so she could feel her father's love every single night for the rest of her life. She used some of the money he had saved for her. She bought a small house with a garden like her mother had always wanted. She started a small foundation in her father's name to help children whose parents could not afford new shoes. She named it the Henry Foundation. In the first year, the foundation helped 200 children get new shoes for school. Sarah keeps a picture of her father on her desk now. It is an old picture, a picture of him when he was young, in his factory uniform, looking tired but proud. Every morning she touches the picture. She says, "Good morning, Dad." Every night she touches the picture. She says, "Good night, Dad." I love you. The little crack in her heart, the one that started when she was 7 years old, is still there. It will always be there. But now, It is filled with light, filled with letters, filled with love. The love that was always there. The love she could not see until it was almost too late. So, my friend, if you are still listening, I want you to think about something. There is someone in your life, maybe your father, maybe your mother, maybe your grandparents, maybe a friend, maybe a teacher, maybe a stranger who once helped you, someone who loves you in their own quiet way, in their own broken way, in the only way they know how. Do not wait. Do not wait the way Sarah waited. Do not wait until they are gone and you are sitting in an attic, holding a box of letters, crying for all the years you could have spent loving them back. Pick up the phone, send the message, knock on the door, say the words, "I love you." Say it today. Say it now, because life is short and love is precious. And sometimes, the people who love us most are the people who do not know how to show it. Look for them, see them, love them while you can. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this story. If your heart feels something right now, even something small, that is a good thing. That is your love, waking up. That is your kindness, remembering itself. There will be another story soon. Another life, another lesson, another little piece of your heart that needs to wake up. I will be here, waiting for you. Until then, take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love. And remember, you are loved, even by people who never knew how to say it. You are loved. Good night.